Hey, Barb.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, so in the again, in the spirit of keeping our distance from each other, we're filming this little video. You're in the classroom at the store, and I'm upstairs in the mezzanine. But we wanted to talk to everybody a little bit about the upcoming mystery knit along, and maybe get everybody prepped for what they need to gather to participate in the knit along.
That's right. So I'm so excited, Cynthia, because we've never really had a mystery knit along before. Well, we've had knit alongs, but they've always been in the store and with a group of people. So this time we're doing it with a virtual audience, and that's really exciting.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be lots of fun, and we've had lots of excitement about it. I think everybody's sort of feeling like we're feeling that, that there's just, it's got to be something to do that keeps you connected with other people
Mhm.
during this time of self-isolation. Hey?
That's right. That's right. And so when this all happened, I thought, oh my God, like I want to create something where people can knit along with us and have a little bit of fun. There's so much seriousness out there. I thought, let's just do something to create something that's, a way for us to all kind of connect with each other and yet something that's not too difficult. So I got out my stitch dictionaries and I started to think about something that would be a sampler where people who maybe even new knitters who don't even, have just learned how to knit might be able to join along with us. So that's what I did.
Yay, that's such a great idea. And so we haven't really revealed it yet. What is the project that we're going to be working on, Barb?
Okay. Well, it's a sampler, like I mentioned. So there's going to be different knit and purl stitches, but it's going to be either a small project like a scarf or a larger project like a wrap. So you're going to cast on either 43 or 83 stitches onto your needle and knit a little bit of a garter band. And then you're going to start into various stitch patterns that we're going to give you, different ones each week.
Right. Okay. So for those of our followers out there who want to join on, what materials do they need to get started?
Well, really, we've designed this to use worsted weight wool. So you might have something in your stash, something that you need about, I think, 600 to 1200 or 1500 meters. So if you're doing this small project, the 43 stitches, that's the perfect size for a scarf. And we think that wool is probably one of the nicest things to do that out of. If you're going to do the wrap, and some people are going to do like a wrap, a shawl, or we've even talked to a few people who are going to do it as a bed runner. So it's like a nice piece of really decorative stitch pattern that you could put at the end of your bed, or you could put it, on your couch, or there's all sorts of different uses for it. But I think it doubles really nicely as a wrap. And so for that project, you can also use wool, or you might want to use just upscale it a little bit and go to merino, something just a little bit finer that might have a little bit more drape to it. Can you hear that? I lost my voice. That word was drape.
All right. So what we're using here in the store, like some of the yarns that we're recommending for
Mhm.
people, include our RCY Epic yarn. Uh,
That's right. Yeah, and I brought some, Cynthia, so I can show them to you if you want. So here's Epic. This is our 100% Peruvian wool. And this just has a really nice toothiness to it that we really like for things like scarves and shawls and wraps. Now, these are 100-gram balls, but you can also get this in this color in the natural in this. So this is a cone of yarn, and this is equivalent to 10 balls. So if you wanted to do a really nice big wrap, Or you say you even wanted to make it a little bit wider than what we're doing, you can do that as well. You could do an extra 1 or 2 repeats of the pattern that we're going to be giving you. But that's what you could use that. That only comes in natural. So it's really nice for sampler stitch patterns because you can see the stitches so nicely when you do it in a cream or in a crew like that, a natural color.
Right. So let me just clarify. If you buy Epic in the 100-gram balls, I think we have 16 colors that you can
17,
choose
I
from.
think. Yeah, I think there's 17.
17 colors, right? But if you wanted to use the cone, it only comes in natural.
Correct.
All of the yarns are available on our website, including the cones.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my understanding.
Okay.
So there was a couple of other people too who said, I like Epic, but I'd really like to up it a little bit, especially for the wrap. What else could I use? So I've been talking with people about using Eden. This is our merino cashmere nylon blend, and this colorway that I have here is called River. So it's very pretty. It's a little bit brighter on the camera on my computer than it is in real life. This one has lots of teals. Like when I turn it to this side in real life, this is all really teal. But there's more pictures of it on our website. So this is Eden, and you get 115 grams here, 195 meters. Okay, and then the other thing was somebody said, "Oh, can I do it in colors?" Absolutely, you can do it in colors, and you could do it in different colors if you wanted. Because it's a scarf or a wrap. Really, the sky's the limit. It's your own personality that you want to put into this. So some people love colors, and other people are more about neutrals or one solid color. But I did talk with one lady who wants to do it in gradients, and so we chatted a lot about this. Cynthia, this is the hand maiden Eden gradient pack, and one lady wanted to use greens, and we had this in stock. So this is like about 5 different shades of green. I just finished using this in another shawl project that I did. But this is a lovely way to use Eden in gradient colors. So you could start with either the lightest or the darkest and work your way right through. I don't know how many of these you might need, but depends whether you're doing the scarf or the shawl. But we give all the meterage in the pattern.
Okay. And the kit that you were holding up there, Barb, was that a kit or was it a gradient bundle?
It's a gradient bundle, but it's also a kit. This one includes a pattern from Handmaiden for their gradient wrap.
Okay.
Some of them came kitted up like that with a pattern, and some came in packages.
Okay.
The other thing I was wanting to mention, Cynthia, is if you're doing the scarf and you want to use wool, this is another really nice one. This is from Julie Asselin, and it's called Nurtured. And this is one of my favorites. This is Rambouillet, Targhee, and Merino. So those are 3 different sheep blends, but we have a nice selection of this yarn in the store. And I just love, excuse my nails. This is what happens when you don't have access to your hairdresser or your nail salon. But this is a really beautiful yarn that I love. So I picked a few of my favorites. Now, if you're going to do the wrap or the shawl, I picked another couple too that we have good supply on, and kind of my favorites. This one is from Noro. This is called Sonata, and it's a cotton, viscose, silk, and nylon blend. And I thought there might be a few people out there who might be looking for a non-wool alternative. And so this one is beautiful. Again, I picked blues. Those are kind of blues and teals. They're kind of my favorite shades. But I love how this one, the silk kind of pops in and out of the strands. It's like an unspun single. And so you get all this beautiful play in the dye. The silk takes the dye just a little differently. And then the last one that I brought today is this one, Juniper Moonshine. This one is a blend of alpaca, wool, and silk, and it's so soft. This one is, I want to say worsted weight. There's 180 meters per 100 grams, so it's maybe even Aran weight. And so it's going to give you a little bigger output, and you'll probably have to use a slightly larger needle than we will tell you to use in the instructions. But this one too is a blend, and it's got silk and alpaca, and you can see too the difference in the silk. It just takes the dye differently, and so it creates a lot of interest. So I think over and above the interest that you'll have in the stitch patterns, you'll also have interest in the yarn too, and super softness. This one's really soft.
That's really
That's it.
That's great. Those are some really nice options. So essentially, you can go through your stash, or you can choose a nice hardy wool like our Epic yarn, or
Mm-hmm.
you can use a blend, or you can pick something with some silk in it, or you can go with a non-wool option. So those are really good
Yeah.
choices. I think we were also asked if about variegated colors versus solid colors. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, there are some really pretty variegated colors in Eden and Adam and Eve. Those are the merino cashmere nylon blends that are dyed for us from Handmaiden. And so some of them are just gorgeous. You know, Red Fox, for example, has reds and grays and charcoals, burgundies, beautiful, some going right into oranges. Your favorite, hyacinth, has beautiful purple blues and greens in it. It's really pretty. So I think those are lovely alternatives too. They're just a little bit more out there. So I think, you know, if you have a personality that can carry that off, go for it. It's probably not going to show up your stitches as well as a plain yarn, but if that's not of concern to you, um, check out one of those ones with a lot of variegation. That would be a very fun project and something that would create a lot of interest for you as you're knitting along. You'll go through so many different colors. You won't want to make supper or, you know, do laundry. You'll just want to knit.
And then I think also we were asked if people need to use circular needles or if they can use straight needles. So what can you tell us about that, Barb?
Either or. I think if you're going to do the wrap, you probably want circular just because you'll have a few more stitches on your needle. And I find that when I've got over 50 stitches on a straight needle, that's really hard on my hands, me personally. So I would go to a circular needle. But
Okay.
for the scarf, it's only 43. That would be fine.
Okay. And then lastly, I don't think we've been asked this yet, but I went downstairs and did a little bit of gathering up of some helpful tools that I think people might like to have on hand when they're doing this project.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to show you what I've got here. Stitch markers, of course. I had to buy a few extra. I don't know if you noticed my order came through online, but I had to buy a few extras because they're in so many of my projects that I can never keep them on hand. So these are some locking stitch markers, which will help to help you if you're a new knitter, help you to know which side is your right side and which side is your wrong side. Plus, you can use the stitch markers between the stitches to help you separate the pattern from the border.
Yeah.
You recommended highlighter tape. And what were you thinking about the highlighter tape, Barb?
Well, absolutely. I mean, highlighter tape is essential because I've written this pattern row by row. So for new knitters who maybe haven't followed charts yet, I wanted to make sure that it was super easy. And so you're going to need that tape or a highlighter pencil maybe, or something to keep track of where you are in the pattern. I just love that tape because it's reusable. You can lift it up and put it back down on your next row and lift it up and put it down. So you can use a piece forever. The roll lasts a long, long time and it's just so useful. The stitch markers, Cynthia, too, that you were talking about, those are going to come in really handy a few patterns down when we get into keeping track of a pattern within a pattern.
All right. Okay, perfect. And then I also pulled out from my my Notions book my knitter's notebook. See, it has my name on the back.
Yeah.
This is what I use. I keep it in my notebook so I can keep track of what row I'm on or any modifications that I've made to a pattern. And occasionally Rachel or Hayden might like to draw a picture in it. But I find this is really handy, like you say, you know, if you're packing up your project for the night, jot down what row you're on, and then you've got it for next time. I pulled out my measuring tape from my little package because you obviously need one of those. And then you told me as well to make sure I had some cable needles, not for right away, but coming up. There's something that might require a cable needle, and I pulled these ones because this fish hook variety is kind of one of my favorites for cable needles. Of course, cable needles come in, you know, straight lengths and curved lengths and things like that, but this is the one that I particularly like. Anything else that you can think of that people might want to gather in preparation for the knit along, Barb?
I don't think so. I think, maybe a pair of scissors, but unless you've got some ends that you need to cut out or, things like I think you've got it.
Okay, perfect. I noticed on the online orders that a lot of orders are containing those aluminum wool needles with a nylon loop on top and a pair of scissors. So people are stocking up on those little necessities that you need to have at home when you're doing a project. So that's a good one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say too that I blocked my swatches, and wow, did that ever make a huge difference. So I think for those who are using a nice hardy wool like Epic Yarn, if you have blocking wires at home, great. If not, we have Lazada wires that are really, really good. And I think we're well stocked on those. So if you need some, we've got them. And then pins too, and something to pin it into your blocking mat. I like those ones from Knitter's Pride that have the little, they look like a little comb, a little white part with little barbs. They're very sharp, and you can pin your pieces down. I like those a lot.
All right, so we'll do a future each week as we put out some of the patterns. We'll review kind of the tools that you need, and we can talk about blocking wires again towards the end of the knit along. How does that sound?
That sounds great. So, gather up your supplies and your yarn, and if you need anything, get a hold of us, and let's all meet on the 15th.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll say goodbye to everybody right now. Get ready. If we'll post a link to where you can find the cast on instructions for the border, and we'll see you back on the 15th. All right. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.